For now, though, we're joined by Maycee Barber, who is here. Hello, Maycee. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing really well, and I'm happy to hear that you're doing well. Could you tell us what you've been through over the last couple of weeks? Because I saw some footage that looked, quite
Yeah,
frankly, terrifying of you in the hospital. So what was going on?
it was actually very terrifying. We still don't have like a definitive answer. And I'm still recovering. I'm still on antibiotics, treating my leg. Basically, like I went through a whole whirlwind of a roller coaster of like, all right, we're good. All right, we're not. But right after the fight, I decided to fly home and get some rest, and God had other plans. He was like, "Psych, you're gonna be in the hospital for the next 9 days." But I went in with like a little bit of like I started to have pain in my leg one morning, and then it just progressed to like significant, like oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. And we actually thought it was a blood clot. That was like the initial thought. So Heather and Bobby from the UFC Performance Institute, they were like, go get checked out, like go to an urgent care and see what they say. And they thought it was a blood clot. They were going to send me in for an ultrasound. But it like progressed like so fast, and I ended up going to the ER and ran tests and tried to figure it out and couldn't figure it out. And then they were going to send me home. So they sent me home that night. I'm giving you the condensed version, but sent me home. And I still had like a pretty high fever. I was like 102, 103. Went home, went to bed, woke up the next day, and I was like 105, 106. And they brought me back into the ER and started running more tests. And then that progressed into a 9-day course of, we think it's sepsis, we think it's staph, we think it's MRSA, we think it's a blood clot, we think it's like all these different things. They thought it was strep A, is another form of strep, and then they were like, we're not sure. And then it turned into and I ended up getting pneumonia.
Oh my God.
And amongst other things, yeah, I ended up having pneumonia and being on oxygen and having the blood pressure monitored and like everything being monitored like at all times, and being stuck with like a bunch of different needles and trying to figure out. But we don't have a definitive answer on what it was, because from the moment I went into the hospital, they started giving me antibiotics and giving me stuff to try to bring it down or figure it out, right? So as they were doing that, they were also testing, and they're like, okay, well, we're giving her this to help with it, but we're also trying to figure out what it is. So they never really got a true answer as to what it was, but the antibiotics that I'm on now are slowly starting to clear it up. So I'm hopeful that it just stays gone and stays away.
Wow.
Because from it there, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it.
Well, I was just going to ask, was there a point where you were like super worried?
Yeah, it was like day 4 or 5. I was in the bed, and my mom was staying the night with me, and for whatever reason, there was something that they had given me. It was like a painkiller, but it was also like a narcotic for like that brought my blood pressure down like too low after it was already extremely low. And I think that like it was a mixture of that mixed with pneumonia and not being able to breathe. Like I legit could not breathe at all.
Wow.
So when they had me on the oxygen and the blood pressure was dropping, like I started crying. I was like, I looked over at my mom and I just started crying. I was like, I didn't feel like I didn't want to tell her that, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it. Like I genuinely was scared, and I was like, damn, like all the people that I'm seeing in the hospital right now might be the last people that I talk to. And so I, called my friends, and I was just like, I don't know. It was tough. It was a scary experience. And I hope that I never have to go through that. But also I feel like it's a testament to a lot of fighters that have had to go through something similar. The things that we put our bodies through, it's like no joke, all the stuff on the backside. It's like, I would have never thought that I would be in a hospital for 9 days feeling like I was going to die.
Wow. And it was 9 continuous days. Like it was like in and out. You were there.
So I went in, I think I went in on Monday or Tuesday, the 12th, to the urgent care. And then that night I went to the ER. I spent all day at the ER, and they sent me home at 3 a.m. only to wake up at like 6 or 7 and be brought back into the ER. And then from that day, from the 13th all the way until I think I was discharged like the 21st.
And as of right this moment, you have no like inclination, you're leaning like it's this, it's that. It's still.
They still never gave me. So what we kind of landed on was strep A, staph, and that was like, and pneumonia.
Okay.
And then it was kind of like the mixture of what they were leaning towards, and that what they like finally started giving me antibiotics for. But the antibiotic that I was put on was one that is like for like severe skin like treatments and stuff. And one of the things that I feel like should have happened way sooner was the doctors that they had working on me, they didn't have answers. So then they had to bring in a doctor from an infectious disease doctor from another hospital. And that's the guy that started to really have the answers for us. So that was very helpful.
Can you work out now? Can you do anything strenuous or athletic?
I played basketball yesterday.
Okay.
But no, for honestly, like I couldn't breathe. Like I couldn't even walk upstairs without being able to not breathe. So I've started to kind of move around and work out. I talked to Dr. Davidson from the UFC, and he was like, maybe start with like 20 minutes of walking on the treadmill and then, progress to like 30 or an hour. And I'm like, that's very low impact for someone who was just training. I was just in a cage fight. It's crazy.
When you say staph, I'm just curious, like usually when you hear about staph, there's an actual wound there that you can see. Did you have a wound?
So I had it looked like someone took a baseball bat to my shin. Like it just whacked me real good. But it wasn't there on Saturday. It wasn't there on Sunday. And it was barely there on Monday. Like it showed up Monday morning or Monday afternoon, as like a little red spot on my skin. And then from there, it just blew up.
Did you feel off?
No cuts.
In your fight against Caitlin, did you feel off? Did you feel sick? Did you feel drained?
I mean, the whole camp was a little bit tough, but I felt off in the sense of I should have finished Caitlin. Like I know in my heart that I could have finished her. For whatever reason, I just didn't have that little extra bit. And I'm not gonna say like, hey, I was dealing with this before the fight, because I genuinely have no clue. The only thing that I noticed in fight week and in the same thing that I had on Sunday was all of fight week, I had a lot of pain in my neck and my head. And I don't know what it was. I always thought it was just the weight cut, but I had the same neck and head pain on Sunday. And then the next day is when it like all flared up. So I don't know. Honestly, I couldn't tell you like if that was part of what I was dealing with in the fight.
So I was going to ask your assessment of your performance against Caitlin. So obviously you're happy you won against someone who has the ability of making really good fighters look sort of bad. She's just like a tough, kind of frustrating matchup at times. Are you happy with the performance, or the fact that you didn't finish her because you say that you think you could have? Does that sort of taint your perspective on the fight?
No, I mean, I definitely feel happy with the performance as far as I dominated someone who was a contender. Like I went there and I definitely proved that I won that fight. Like I won that fight with a unanimous decision. Like I'm happy with it. I'm just a little bit like, dang, like I wish I had that little extra bit inside me, because I would have finished her. Like she didn't have the power that I wasn't worried about the power. The only thing is she's an awkward and she's a long style. So it gives a lot of people challenges. I just wish I had that extra little bit inside me that night.
So I feel silly asking you about like other sort of sport trivial things after you're talking about almost thinking you were going to die in the hospital, but I am very very eager to ask your opinion on the main event this past weekend, Manon Fiorot and Erin Blanchfield, because you have had some things to say about the two of them. What did you think of the fight, and were you surprised by the result?
I was not surprised by the result. I knew that was going to happen because I've been saying this for a long, long time. Erin Blanchfield does not have any kind of striking. Like her striking is not good at all. Erin Blanchfield has had a lot of success because she has good ground game, but she hasn't fought anyone that hasn't she fought Andrade after Andrade was, she's not the same fighter that she used to be. She fought JJ Aldrich after I beat JJ Aldrich, and JJ Aldrich was never the same fighter that she used to be. She fought Molly McCann, who had no business really fighting in the top like that, So I don't feel like Erin's performances have been all that impressive to me. I know that they impress a lot of people because, they're all over her for her ground game, which I'm not going to deny. Like, it's great. Like, her ground game and her wrestling are good. Her striking's terrible, and she's not an exciting fighter. The fight went exactly how I thought it was going to be. If Manon could stay out long and just piece her up, like Manon's striking is good. I also don't feel like Manon's a finisher though. So to me, it was like, all right, it's just kind of a lackluster fight for me. And I didn't feel like it really put a statement out there like, oh, hey, I'm really ready I'm ready to take the belt. That's why I wanted to finish, though, you know? But as far as, like, putting my name out there for the belt, it's like I know what I'm capable of. I know that I want the rematch with Alexa Grasso. And I know that for me and where I'm at in my position, I deserve a spot in the conversation for the belt and for the rematch. So I wasn't really impressed by their performances.
So I'm wondering if you're thinking the same. Grasso and Shevchenko aren't fighting before the end of the summer at earliest. Maybe that Sphere card in September because the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff. And so if Manon is in fact going to wait for the winner of that fight, she's probably not fighting till 2025 at this point, which seems a little crazy. Even if they put her as the backup fighter, maybe she gets a few dollars. Do you think there's a chance that they do you versus her as a number one contender fight, maybe around the same time as the title fight, so that the timing now works out with the contenders and the champion?
I could see them doing that, but at the same time, if Manon, she says she doesn't want to do that. So you can't make someone do what they don't want to do unless, you know, you're going to pay them significantly more. So we'll have to see how that goes, because I mean, I'm down to fight for the number one contender spot, but at the same time, like, I want my rematch. So I don't feel like I have anything else to prove. I'm on a 6-fight win streak. I have history with Alexa, and I also feel like I could be a backup fighter, you know? So it's kind of a unique situation. It's tough because the girls are fighting. Valentina and Alexa are fighting. So it's kind of a weird timing situation. You know, who knows if someone's going to get hurt or what happens. You know, anything can happen.
Well, I like two other scenarios for you, and I'd love to get your thoughts on these scenarios. The first one would be you versus Rose. She won.
Okay.
And I think you've talked about her, and she in her post-fight press conference and even on this show afterwards said, you know, I think it's funny that Maycee's calling me out. And I don't know, I got the impression that she was a little perturbed by it.
Correction.
Yes.
I didn't call her out.
Okay.
She suggested a fight with me. For me, I'm like, maybe, but that's also me fighting backwards now, because if we look at the rankings, Rose fought one girl to get back into the flyweight division. She came off a loss and fought Amanda, and that got her back in the conversation. And then she lost to get Manon. So, I mean, for me, it's like, I'd be fighting backwards to fight Rose Namajunas now, right?
But she's a name, right?
So,
I mean, that's a nice notch on your belt.
She's a name. I'm not doing that. But for her, it's like, okay, if she beats me, which she won't, then she's already in that top spot. Why would I give her the chance? I already worked my whole butt off to get to this spot where I'm in a contention for the belt. Why would I go and fight Rose and fight backwards?
I don't know what her ranking is. I don't know what yours is. I don't really look at the rankings. Do you know off the top of your head?
I think she's like 7 or 9.
And you are?
4.
4, okay. But it is Rose, no? You don't think that's a nice marquee?
It is Rose, and that would be a great win over a great name. And you know, if the conversation happens, then maybe. But for me, it has to make sense, because I would be fighting backwards.
Okay. What about this one? You versus Erin.
I'm not going to fight a loser. She lost. She had her chance.
But I feel like
let Rose and did Rose just win or did Rose lose?
Rose beat Amanda.
Rose beat Amanda. I was going to say let Rose and Erin fight.
I'd love that too. I think that all makes sense. But okay, so then what are you saying, that you're going to wait for the winner of Alexa Valentina to fight Manon, and then you're going to wait for that fight? Winner. That means you're not fighting till like 2026.
So if I'm going to fight Rose and I'm going to fight backwards, I want a bigger check.
Okay.
But
let me call up Dana real quick and sort this out.
Call up Dana. Let's have a conversation. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a tough answer, because it's like there's Manon, and then there's the two girls fighting for the Valentina and Alexa, and they're fighting it. It's like, it's who do you put with who and what time? You know, it's a conversation that has to happen of like, all right, am I going to fight Manon and we're going to fight for the contender spot, or is Rose, or who's going to be in there? So I want to have answers for you. I really do.
Oh,
Believe me.
I was just curious what you were feeling, not so much what you think, like what you would like to happen. If it was up to you, how does the cookie crumble here?
I would fight Alexa Grasso. Okay. And I heard that Valentina doesn't want to fight Alexa in the Sphere. So if that's the case, I'd fight Alexa in the Sphere.
You heard that? Really? Why would she not want to fight her? That's going to be a huge show.
From whatever I heard is because it's going to be like something with it being more lean towards Alexa, and it's like she's the favorite in that because
Noche UFC and all that. Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this?
That's just something that I heard, so don't quote me on that. Don't.
It's a live show, so it's it's not like we can do anything with it. But who is the best women's flyweight in the world right now?
Me.
You feel like you're the queen without a crown. You're better than the two women fighting for the belt.
Absolutely, and I'll continue working to show that.
In your heart of hearts, when do you think you get a title shot?
My goal would be before 2024 is over, but realistically, it could be the beginning of 2025.
Okay. And more than likely, you'll have to fight maybe one more time, right?
Most likely, yeah,
Yeah.
because, I mean, we have them matched up.
And so who would that person be against? Who would that fight be? You see how I went? I took a detour.
I love this. This is great. Just to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if it has to be one more fight and we're proving who's ready for the belt, it would make sense to put the two winners against each other. I fought Caitlin. She was a former contender. I fought Jessica I, former contender. Beat both of them. So me versus another winner, Manon, would be the only fight that on paper would make sense, I think.
Okay. And
however,
yeah,
I don't need to prove that anymore. I've already done all the stuff I need to do to put myself in the spot. I beat two contenders, and I feel like I deserve that shot.
Were you impressed with Rose against Amanda?
I wasn't. I finished Amanda, and I didn't feel like she couldn't put her away. I feel like Rose is too small for the division.
You think she should go back to 115?
If she wants to have finishes and performances like she was having, yeah.
She was, though, fighting a natural strawweight, right? Like, Hebus was kind of moving up. She's not your typical women's flyweight fighter.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point, because Amanda has fought in both divisions.
But you weren't blown away?
I wasn't blown away. No. I thought that Rose was going to go out there and finish her, and she didn't.
And as far as what Manon did against Erin on Saturday, was there anything that you were like, okay, respect, that if we fight, this will be a tricky puzzle to figure out? Was there anything like that, or was it just everything you expected and nothing really surprised you or impressed you?
No, I think she's very similar to Caitlin. She just throws a lot of volume and doesn't have a whole lot of power, and she's not like someone that's like, oh my gosh, like that's an impressive performance or a fight. But she did exactly what she needed to do to beat Erin.
Okay. And your relationship with Rose right now is what?
I'm sorry?
Your relationship with Rose, how would you describe it? Because she was complimentary of you. She did say that, you're a savage, but she would be interested in fighting you if the opportunity was presented. I think you've trained together in the past, right? For a minute or two?
Yeah, we used to train when I lived in Colorado. I haven't trained with her in a while.
Right.
But we don't have, there's no other relationship other than, we've had former training together. I fought two of her former teammates. But other than that, she's another fight. She's great. Like, I've always looked up to Rose. I thought that she was a phenomenal fighter and is a phenomenal fighter. But right now I'm ahead of her in the rankings, and the flyweight rankings, I'm ahead of her.
Right. And so when are doctors, if anything, telling you that you could be back to 100%? Are they saying like this is going to be 2 weeks of antibiotics, 3 weeks? Like, what are you looking at?
So I've already done like 2 or 3 weeks of antibiotics, and I just picked up another prescription. So I have, I believe, another week. And as soon as this, I still have a lump on my leg. Soon as that's gone, then hopefully I will be like on the trajectory of, getting back. But I've just been trying to consistently keep my lungs open and start to move and start to really just be ready, so that when I'm in the gym, it's not like, I got to get back in shape and then all of that. I just want to be back. I want to be back training.
Right. By the way, you do seem like you're in a beautiful locale. Where are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in Arizona.
Okay.
I'm visiting Arizona.
This is a good place to rest up and get some vitamin D from the sun and all that stuff.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm loving it here.
Okay. Well, I do wish you the best. I hope you make a speedy recovery. I hope that all this is behind you sooner rather than later. Congrats on the recent win, and let's see how the cookie crumbles. Manon's going to be in studio here in about 90 or so minutes. Anything you'd like for me to say to her on your behalf?
Congratulations on your performance, and if she gets the title shot, I hope she gets the belt, and I'll be seeing her for the belt.
Okay. I love it. I like that you shoot from the hip. Some people who are a little bit younger, you just tell it like it is. They were boring. They suck. I'm more exciting. This was not impressive. It's good.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I gotta say what I think.
I appreciate it. You don't beat around the bush. You don't sugarcoat.
Yeah, we don't gotta be scared.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Maycee. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on and get well soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.